Hello and welcome back to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're new to my channel, I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness and sharing my life stories with Aspergers Syndrome and the like, along with tips and advice along the way, be it general health, mental health and the like, along with also hopefully some fun and games along the way to just to journey with me what my life is like with Aspergers Syndrome. Just a heads up, at the moment, as you know, I've been trying to do as many autism related topics as of this month, as you know, because obviously it's Autism Awareness Month and there has been some controversies of certain, topics I may have shared based on Autism Awareness Month. Even though I know and fully understand that many people will have differences of opinion, that's fine. We just hopefully accept one another's differences of opinion regardless, either to accept or not to accept it all, because it's based on opinions and thoughts and just respecting each other regardless. And hopefully within saying this, of what I share will be a safety net. So in saying this though, I've been coming of late to think of what to share with you all as well, based on some more autistic related topics as well, just other topics in general that I'm passionate about, speaking from the heart of an autistic, or shall we say a person that's an Aspie. So at this point in time, I've thought of a topic that's going to be called Who Am I If You Were to Take Away My Aspergers Syndrome. Smash the like button and comment below basically to let me know of what's going on, of what you want to see, or what have you, or you're enjoying some of these autistic related topics and you think you want me to branch it out even further, because as I said, I'm doing as much research as well, speaking on behalf of the autistic community, as well as hopefully on the outside of the autistic community, of some everyday important matters that matters to me anyway. And I'm sure as hell hopefully we can open up our eyes and see each other's differences. So as we know, there are many different messages in curing, removing autism or what have you, but it sure as hell can be a hell of a ride with all this, because obviously, as I said, there's always been mixed messages, understanding on this. We sure as hell do try to remove what comes with it, and this can be amazing, basically, of if you didn't remove the autism or person with Aspergers Syndrome, because obviously, you're stripping away their identity, as we call it, or a badge of honor, as I actually call it as well, hearsay, because obviously in saying this, it's who and what we are as we identify as ourselves as. It's not like a current label as such that many people may think of, that we put it as that way of that. But then in saying this though, we are all different, right? Despite it all, we all have our differences on how we think, act, speak and whatnot, and sometimes some people in the neurotypical world wants to put us in a box where they have these expectations that this is how it is and that's it. I believe that's a false kind of way of thinking, that in saying this, even though I have defined what a cure is, it's all about fixing something that is broken, hearsay, or just being able to treat something that is different in a way. But I believe also in saying this that we autistics see things in a different light, and hopefully in saying this that in the near future, regardless of all the changes that is happening around us, that we'll be able to share the world what we're like, regardless of what non-verbal or verbal autistics or what have you, because I believe that we have a lot of gifts and talents like many other, children with special needs, hearsay. And saying this though, also, too much of the cure culture has come about of it all, and it irks me to the point where we need to just find other means of it all, Even though there are treatments and stuff that many doctors hasn't even said about it, or many medical specialists have said about, to actually manage and treat the autism in a way that is, tolerable. But as I said, I believe also it's a behavioural thing, an actual impairment that we have in the brain. Sure, if you want to take away the identity or the characteristic traits that has been brought to play with me having Aspergers Syndrome, why not? Example wise, like my weakness of communication sometimes with my little stimming that annoys the hell out of people of certain things, be it if I'm humming, either if I'm nervous or overwhelmed or what have you, being able to express my thoughts or my, emotions and feelings to you guys, basically, or maybe to the point that you want to try to take away my comprehension and understanding and levels of communication to the point of a degree that you don't want me to talk no more. Do you wish to do this, maybe? Or even in saying this, basically, if you wanted to take away the characteristics of so on and so forth of my little shyness that I come about sometimes when I meet new people, as well as my social awkwardness. But then again, who are you to do this, you know? Others, on the other hand, may want a cure or just want something stripped away from them. Yes, I agree that some parents want that, what's best for their children, you know, be it a cure or not. But maybe some of the parents also wants just us, so-called neurotypical, shall we say, just to understand us more and actually being able to accept who and what we are because of all these expectations that's lying around that, you know, we need them to be perfect or we need them to be normal of the kids. Another one is, like, on the other hand, for some autistics, they don't want a cure. They're just happy who and what they are as a person, and that makes them who they are. People take it personally on the spectrum for this subject matter and more, as I've shared before. There has some references about basically, you know, about autism and whatnot of some articles on the cure culture hearsay. Basically, I'll list that below. As I shared many times before, I was bullied a lot in my early teens because I knew I was someone different. Obviously, I didn't fit in and blend into the, you know, expectations of what was needed and required, or just not fitted and blended in for some of the everyday labels that, you know, you come about of all these, you know, status quo of hearsay. You know, you need to be popular, you need to be thin, you need to be nerdy, you need to be whatever it may be. And in saying this, I felt that maybe being different, even if I didn't fit in and blend in into those areas that are there of that status quo, I thought I can prove to the world that I can be someone different, you know, and everything else. All the more so, though, while I was being bullied in my early years of teens, and maybe, shall we say, when I was into intermediate, obviously, yes, my self-confidence and self-esteem plummeted to an all-time low. And as I was used to be happy, a go-lucky girl, bubbly and everything else. I used to be full of energy, a carefree, spirited young girl. Not many cares of the world, just trying to mind my own business and everything when something did happen. I still felt the cruelness and harshness of certain people while being bullied, regardless of all these labels and that the bullies put you on. You're too ugly, you won't be loved, you won't be this and this, and also it just seemed from the point then from me that obviously I was starting to believe all these expressions of opinions based on what the bullies was fueling me, and then those little white lies keeps creeping back on my thoughts. You know, maybe they're right and stuff, and I started, you know, feeding into that and saying this on my all-time low. I got into the darkest place that I couldn't get out of times, hearsay, and let's just say it wasn't pretty for me and for others that knew and loved me, for me, hearsay. And obviously, to this day, now I'm starting to learn to accept me for me, regardless of what people may think of me. I remember once upon a time that there were a few boys and girls in the group of people that would have pointed the finger laughing at me, you know, you're ugly and that, just because, like, okay, before we used to wear, you know, uniforms and that, you know, I wore certain clothes that might not been that way, and then I get these other label mentalities pointing the fingers at me. You're not perfect, you're broken, you're diseased, and more often than not, more other taunts started, and I started to learn to accept them. And in saying this, basically, I'm sure as hell that many autistics would have felt this way as well. As a whole, though, I felt as I was accepting from a society, this was their truth, you know, regardless of it all. Even though after in saying this, I thought it was my safety and rights and protections and so much more just to accept these in a world of where people were treating others differently. Wasn't the only one struggle for me, as many autistics probably on the spectrum. You know, many of us autistics may be struggling for acceptance, fitting in, friendship, and much more. And it's a sad, like I said, it's a sad and cruel world, because obviously we all need to be accepted and loved by one another. Hearsay. We can either accept who and what we are and support one another, or we can just go the opposite way, hearsay, as I'm saying. You know, even though we may be different, and many people won't want to touch people that are different because of other reasons, as I shared in one of my videos. Whenever I met others like me on the spectrum or in the autistic community, regardless of the groups I'm in, because I'm in so many autistic groups as well as in many other groups on Facebook at the moment, hearsay, basically I felt more at ease and more at peace, and I felt that I was being more understanding of others around me on the spectrum and outside the spectrum, hearsay, as well as basically, you know, being at peace within myself, knowing that, you know, I wasn't alone, hearsay, regardless of what my struggles are, and I still have my everyday personal struggles, regardless what they are. I feel like I was more at home with the group, you know, he say. I felt like it's a safety blanket, a safety net, you know. I wasn't going to be judged. I wasn't going to be laughed at. I wasn't going to get the fingers pointed at to the point that, you know, it's all in my head and whatever else that comes throwing at me. I felt despite it all though, like, with this looking for a cure of autism though, also, and for my personal thought, it can be a waste of time, resources, energy, and whatnot, as well as money. We know for a fact for searching for a cure of certain things, be it autism and the like, can be unethical and harmful to the point that, you know, why would you want to just try and find a cure? This is my asking. Because we know so on and so forth, there are so many non-invasive therapies out there or invasive therapies, I should say, that are based on certain everyday means from the pseudoscience and everything else to create harm and problems that weren't even there in the first place. I believe this. Or to even begin with. Symptoms, however, are the behaviours of the condition, be it, you know, autism and the like, you know, such as the main important factor that some autistics may not communicate, so they're non-verbal. Behavioural environment, is that the problem? You may need to question that as well, you know, besides do we need a cure? Because obviously, at the end of the day, I believe that it is the environment that's the problem of where we are at that point of time that creates these unwanted problems, be it the stimming, be it the meltdowns, be it the overload and whatever else, but we can change the environment that we're in. Also, in saying this, there's sometimes some parents, I'm not trying to criticize or mock you or whatever, I'm just saying it from what I've seen and experienced in my life, that some of the parents wants to try and squish out the behavioural kind of traits that the child has on the autism spectrum, you know, be it whatever it may be. That's fine and what. Well, that's up to you guys, but in saying this, but why on earth would you want to? Aren't you just loving and accepting of who and what they are as a person? You know, again, it's all about loving and understanding us and actually accepting us for who and what we are. People also that are the NTs, obviously, trying to force onto that food for thought of wanting a cure, you know, be it not just the big pharmac companies, but just people in general, I believe. The desire of the expectations and reality, basically just to change the person for who and what they are. Furthermore, further apart of these two, of these high expectations of a cure you want for a child may then be there. There are some therapies that may help autistics, yet not many of us has been told about them, so therefore some of us parents and people on the spectrum that are able to look after themselves may be able to look for these type, you know, diagnoses. We shouldn't hopefully wave a magic wand and say, hey presto, you know, you're cured. Because what difference will it make? There will be a loss for a cure, I believe. Autistics are the next generation. They could be something powerful. They could be something that we need to look at into the worlds of ours. You know, we are different, obviously. We are all different and capable of doing things. Even though we may look at it in a different perspective, we may be doing it a wrong way or whatever it may be, I believe. Sometimes in some ways also, I believe that, you know, despite living in this cruel world, basically, I believe that, you know, many people have the impatience, intolerance not to understand or what have you, and have a lesser understanding of compassion for others around us, regardless what it is, despite the world is changing around us of everything that's going on, be it, you know, people on the autism spectrum, be it with all these other important factors that's going on around the world right now. I think we need to take a step back and actually allow us for thriving, allow us to grow, allow us to learn, allow us to do what we can. You know, maybe it's a good opportunity for you guys that are different to us to look at a different light, what you can do to learn from us, as well as maybe we look from it on your perspective of what we can learn from you. We need to acknowledge others and accept each other's differences, I believe. You know, who and what we are, of our traits and, you know, quirks such as, you know, stimming. Stimming is beautiful. Stimming shouldn't be, you know, stopped from others around us. You know, it's helps us to do what we can do, obviously, to, you know, calm down in an environment maybe that is so overwhelming for us, whatever it may be, I believe. You know, also for some of us that may suffer from echolalia, you know, it's wonderful. We're all awesome in our own thing. You know, we are a whole person. We don't need to be, you know, someone who's not. We don't need to be fixed when people label us that we're too broken to be fixed in the first place. We shouldn't have to change for others, you know, expectations and standards and whatever it may be. I believe that we should be able to just be real and be able to be true. You know, there's nothing wrong with us, however, and I, for one, as well, we're not puzzling, broken, or mysterious. We are humans, after all, besides the label of being autistic or Aspie or whatever. Autism is a form of identity and should be easy to accept for each of us. We touch and see the world and feel the world differently, obviously, as I said. I believe in the question, as someone was sharing, where do I need to find the beginning and the ending of autism? You know, we shouldn't have to, because obviously it's who and what I am, and I need to accept for who and what I am becoming right now, and in reality just accept and embrace this change in me. So this quickly ends basically, who am I? If you took away my Aspergers Syndrome, smash the like, comment below. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to join me on my bandwagon for this journey of what I'm hoping to share with you, be it autistic related, health related, and all that, so I can hopefully keep on going with what I want to share with you all. Feel free to also, if you do decide, turn on the notification bell so you can keep up to date with my new content, so that we can, you know, engage with one another. Feel free to also maybe engage with me down below for any one of you that wants to open up the floorboard about the, you know, cure for autism topic, especially since it's a real big topic at this point of time, because I'm hoping to bring out some other topics soon based on what I'm researching, regardless if it's, like I said, autistic related or not. Feel free to share these videos around to family and friends, because as I said, I believe that there will be some people that may need to hear this, because I want to spread as much awareness and understanding to others around us that are different, to see it from a different light. So, and all for the do, guys, thanks for support, thanks for watching, do what you love what you do. Until next time, Aspie signing out.